Konnichiwa minasan, and welcome to the class in the second lecture series on Introduction to Japanese Language and Culture. I hope that you are enjoying your classes and you are finding Japanese easy now. This is all about N4, whatever is covered in N4, the syllabus of N4 we are going to cover over here, we are going to do here in this series. So, work hard all of you, and I am sure you will find it easy and interesting. So, in our last class we did to iimasu, and you know now that it means to say. Something that you want to quote or paraphrase is to be put before to iimasu. Now, today we are going to do something more and learn more about to iimasu, a new usage of to iimasu. How to use it in our sentences, how to make our conversation better. We are going to do to iimasu again, and I hope that you enjoy it. There is some kanji also today. There is a kotowaza for you and some new grammar. So, let us see what we have. But before that, as I always do, we are going to listen to a Kaiwa and let us see how much you understand. So, well.
皆さん、あさって私の発表に来てくれませんか？
何時からですか？
午後3時からです。
クラスがないから行きますよ。発表に他の学生もいますか？
よくわからないけど研究室からみんな来ると言ってました。
先生方もいらっしゃいますか？
田中先生と小林先生が来ます。4月から私は東京電機に入社するので、本社から山田さんという方もいらっしゃいます。
あ、そうですか。ラオさん、頑張らなくちゃ。
そうね。
So, you just heard the Kaiwa, and I am sure a lot of things you had heard earlier. The things that you have not done, we are going to do now. I will read the Kaiwa once and explain it to you. So, this Kaiwa is the same. There are a few things which I have added over here. So, Mira, asatte watashi no happyo ni kite kuremasen ka? Kite is kuru, verb kuru. So, kite kuremasen ka? Kureru. If you remember, last week we did ageru, morau and kureru. So, ageru is give, morau is receive, and kureru is when someone else gives something to me or to someone. So, kite kureru means you will please come and I will receive the favor. So, nanji kara desu ka? Gogo 3時からです. So, Mira says, class ga nai kara ikimasu yo. So, this yo shows that they are friends, because yo is not used with seniors. Happyo ni hoka no gakusei mo imasu ka? Hoka no is others. Other gakusei mo imasu ka? Are they going to be present there? So, Rao says, yoku wakaranai kedo kenkyūshitsu kara minna kuru to itte imashita. Yoku is used for frequency and for amount as well. Over here, when you translate it into English, the meaning is much. So, yoku wakaranai kedo, I do not know much about it, but kedo is but, as you know, joining sentence A and sentence B and showing contrast. But kenkyūshitsu kara, from kenkyūshitsu, minna kuru to itte imashita. Now, last time in your last class you had done to iimasu, to itte imashita. So, to iimasu is he says or he is saying, and to imashita is he said. Now, to itte imashita. Whatever was said, you are rephrasing it and putting it in words. Basically, this could amount to indirect speech. Kenkyushitsu kara minna kuru to itte imashita. They were saying that they will come. Sensei gata mo irashaimasu ka? So, sensei, thus you cannot say hito. Okay, hito. Because it is sensei, so gata or kata. This is the kanji. This is polite for hito. Okay. So, mo irashaimasu ka, mo kimasu ka is informal, but because it is sensei, so irashaimasu ka. Irashai is polite for iku and kuru. Tanaka sensei to Kobayashi sensei ga kimasu. 4月から私は東京電機に入社するので、本社から山田さんという方もいらっしゃいます。So 4月から from 4月私は東京電機、東京エレクトリカルカンパニーに入社します。I am going to enter the company. Because I am going to enter the company, thus 本社から from the main office. 本社 is main office. Yamada san to you, person who is called Yamada, san to you, kata again because he does not know this gentleman as yet, mo irashai masu. He could have said hito also, Tanaka san to you hito, but that would be very, very rude. Ah, so desu ka? Ja ganbaranakucha. So, I will explain this to you later. There is ganbaranakucha over here and to you, which is new. So, we will do both these with a lot of other things. Now, this is in your script and you can see kanjis are there over here. You can see watashi, simple kanjis, Tanaka sensei, Kobayashi sensei, kimasu, kimasu, honsha, hon you know, and sha from kaisha sha, Yamada, Yongatsu. So, all this is there. Please practice your kanji as well. You can forget all the difficult kanjis that are given over here like kenkyushitsu and happyo, but do the rest. So, there was this word yoku in our conversation. Now, yoku is a frequency adverb. It means often and it also means lots. It shows number of times an activity is done or it takes place and also shows frequency, and thus it is called a frequency adverb. Now, we have done some frequency adverbs earlier like mainichi and tokidoki. So, let us quickly revise mainichi and tokidoki and then we will do yoku. So, you can see over here mainichi uchi de tabemasu, every day uchi de tabemasu. Demo tokidoki soto de tabemasu, sometimes. Demo always shows contrast. You do one thing and you do not do another thing, or you do this and you do not do that. Mainichi tomodachi to hanashimasu ka? Every day do you talk to your friend? Iie, tokidoki hanashimasu. I don't talk every day, sometimes I talk. Iie is for no, I don't talk every day. Haha wa tokidoki nihon ryori o tsukurimasu. Haha is mother, tokidoki sometimes, nihon ryori o tsukurimasu. Make. A-san is asking, mainichi undo o shimasu ka? B says, iie, tokidoki shimasu. You can also make some sentences and practice. So, now we will do some kanji which we did in our previous slide. Mainichi, mai means every, made like this, and nichi means every day. Mai kai, kai is times. Nankai tabemasu ka? 2 回 tabemasu. Now this is soto. I have done this kanji with you earlier and I have explained it, so I am not going to do it now. I want to do this word with you, which means gai jin. So one reading is soto and the other reading is gai. Gaijin is a foreigner. Koko is not here, so I am not saying gaikokujin. You can also say gaikokujin. Put the kanji of kuni over here in between. Over here it is just gaijin. Gaikoku is there, so gai koku, and then you can always add jin over here, as I was telling you just now. Gaikoku means a foreign country. Then hanasu you have done a number of times as a verb. This is hanashi, which means a tale or a story. So, and also this means to talk. Hana su is also there, like this. So, denwa, you talk through an electrical appliance. So, that is denwa, which is a phone. Then gakko, gaku is to learn. We have done this kanji also. Now, this kanji is new. It is made from tree. The radical is tree over here, base is tree, and then you have otosan here. Easy to remember, or you can remember it as ki, roku, and then cross. So, this means ko means school. So, gakko, place of learning. Mainichi is again given over here. My kai, my shoe, my tsuki. Tsuki can also be used instead of nichi. We can use a simple one, my tsuki. So, now adverb yoku was there in the Kaiwa, and let us see how we can use yoku in our conversation. When yoku is placed before direct object, a noun, then it shows frequency. How does it show that? Let us see. Yoku indicates frequency and shows work done. So, first we will do this one. Yoku tomodachi no uchi ni ikimasu. Yoku, lots, many times. Tomodachi no uchi ni ikimasu. Tomodachi is a noun. So, tomodachi no uchi ni ikimasu. Over here, watashi, watashi wa yoku tomodachi no uchi ni ikimasu. I go a number of times. I go a lot. Yoku soto de tabemasu. Watashi wa yoku soto de, outside my house, soto de tabemasu. De over here because action. Then yoku shucho o shimasu. Shucho is tour. So, yoku shucho o shimasu. Tanaka-san wa yoku shucho o shimasu, or yoku shucho ni ikimasu. Ni over here for ikimasu. He goes a lot on shucho. Then Rao-san wa yoku okaasan ni tegami o kakimasu. So, always you will see that you have a noun over here. After yoku, if noun is used, then it shows frequency, that an activity is happening a number of times. Yoku shows frequency, but it also shows how well an action has been done. Now, to do something well or to do it to near perfection against doing something many times are two different things, completely different things. So, we learned how to use yoku and show frequency in our previous slide. Now, how are we going to show an action that has been performed properly? Mira, yoku gambarimashita ne. So, gambarimasu is a verb. Gambaru. Yoku gambarimashita ne. You worked very hard. You did something well is the meaning. Mira, yoku gambarimashita ne, yoku yarimashita ne. You did well. You worked very hard. Mira-san wa notes o yoku torimashita ne. So, somebody who is older to you is saying this. Yoku torimashita. So, because you have a verb over here, thus it shows that something has been performed well. You have taken good notes as is given over here, and it is also used as a praise to encourage someone to do something. Yoku notes o torimasu ne. So, what does this mean? Because you have a noun over here, it shows frequency. You take notes a lot. Now, watashi wa yoku yasumimashita. Yasunda. Yasumimashita. Nichiyoubi ni watashi wa yoku yasunda. So, over here it is a little different. It is showing degree of something, that I really relaxed and enjoyed myself to a great extent is the meaning. Please remember, this is a little different from the ones that you have just done. So, now the important thing here is that if yoku is followed by a verb, as I said just now, what does it show? It shows that work has been performed well or done well. For example, yoku yatta, but if yoku is followed by a noun, as we did just now in our previous slide, then it shows frequency of work or number of times an action has occurred or occurs. Now, look at this example. Kino ame ga furimashita. It rained yesterday. It is just a statement. There is no yoku over here, just a simple statement and observation. Kino ame ga yoku furimashita. So, we have verb over here. Now, tell me, what does it mean? Yoku furimashita, that it rained a lot. There was lot of heavy shower. Now, kotoshi yoku ame ga furimashita. Yoku ame ga furimashita. Now, what does it show? Tell me. It tells about frequency, that this year, because of kotoshi over here, this year we had ame number of times. It rained a lot of times. So, from these sentences and examples, you can see when it means quantity and when it means frequency. Now, you have also done taksan earlier, which is quite similar to yoku, and we could say in a broader sense both show quantity, meaning lots, meaning many. But the basic difference is, and you would have already guessed by now, that taksan can be measured, whereas yoku cannot be measured. Taksan shows amount, quantity and also volume, whereas yoku actually shows frequency and is closer in meaning to often. Now, you will see this very clearly over here. Yoku hataraite imasu. Hataraku is to work. So, we can add Tanaka-san. San wa yoku hataraite masu ne. So, he is working very, very hard. Over here, yoku is correct because we have a verb over here. But now, taksan hataraite masu. So, can you measure how much a person works? You cannot do that. So, taksan will not work over here. There is another example over here for you. Yoku tomodachi no uchi ni ikimasu. Noun. Yoku tomodachi no uchi ni ikimasu. We had this example earlier as well. So, taksan tomodachi no uchi ni ikimasu. It would be incorrect here. In our last lesson, we did to imasu. So, let us go over it very, very quickly. As you know, before to imasu, always plain form of the verb is used. So, you can see person who has said will be followed by wa, a comma, whatever is to be quoted, inverted commas, and then to imashita. This is the basic construction. Now what you have done is Mira wa sensei no kougi ni ikanai to iimasu. She is saying that I will not go for the lecture. I will not go for sensei's lecture. This is what it means. Now Mira wa raishu kaigi ga aru to iimashita. So Mira said, over here said, Mira, next week kaigi meeting is there. So Mira said next week there is a meeting. This is how to iimashita is going to be used. To iimasu is at that time. Now itte iimashita, which is indirect, Mira wa rainen Nihon e iku to itte iimashita. So Mira said that she will go to Japan next year. Said that, Mira said that she will go to Japan next year. This is indirect and you say what you have understood from what the person has told. So you have to iimasu, to iimashita and to itte iimashita. So I hope that everything is clear now. So as Japanese is all about polite form, so as long as the verb used at the end of the sentence is in mas form, the sentence is polite. So now we will do some polite verbs. We have done a number of polite verbs earlier as well because we did iimasu today. So let us see what is the polite equivalent for iimasu. When you use iimasu for self, for your own introduction, what does it mean? And where and how it is going to be used in other situations, let us see now. So, watashi wa Tanaka to iimasu. Watashi wa Tanaka. Des is also there. Watashi wa Tanaka des. I am Tanaka. Or watashi wa Tanaka to iimasu. Literal translation is I am called Tanaka. But we also take it as I am Tanaka. Now, what is the polite for iimasu? The polite for iimasu is moushimasu. If you remember, I have covered it in lesson 15 and 16. Just to remind you, I am putting it over here, and the kanji is very, very simple. You can see it's like this, mosu. Now, you have also done shiru. Shiru means to know. We did it in our last lesson. What is the polite for shiru? And what is the continuous for shiru? And what are the rules to use shiru? Well, Tanaka-san o shitte imasu ka? Generally, when you ask somebody, you would use shitte imasu ka? And the answer would also be in hai, watashi wa shitte imasu or watashi wa shirimasen. The answer, if it is in negative, it will be shirimasen. Now, what is the polite for shiru? It is gozonji. So, the verb is zonjiru and the polite is gozonji. Go is honorific. So, Tanaka-san wa gozonji desu ka? Do you know Tanaka-san? Now, you will see that with shiru, we always get confused with wakaru, which means to understand. So, can you use this wakaru verb over here, Tanaka-san o wakarimasu ka? No, because wakaru means understand. So, I can ask you, minasan, ima no bunpo wakarimasu ka? The bunpo that I am doing now, the grammar that I am doing now, wakarimasu ka? And tonari no kenkyushitsu no Kobayashi sensei o shitte imasu ka? Do you know Kobayashi sensei from the next lab? So, that is how you will use shiteimasu and wakarimasu. Gozonji is polite for shiru. Shiru is the dictionary form. Zonjiru is the verb. Go is honorific. Now, kono kanji no yomikata wa gozonji desu ka? Yomikata is reading of this kanji. Iie shirimasen. Over here you can also use iie wakarimasen. Both can be used over here, shiru and wakaru. But because the question is in shiteimasu ka or gozonji desu ka, it is better to answer in shirimasen, negative. Shirimasen or hai shiteimasu. Now, you can also ask the same question as kono kanji no yomikata wa nan desu ka? This is a very, very simple way of asking, informal way of asking. This is a polite way of asking someone. Now, for you to understand, I have written this over here. The dictionary form is shiru, shiteimasu, I know, I have knowledge of. Shiteimasu ka, a question, then shirimasen is in negative. And also like this, shiru, shirimasen, shirimashita and shirimasen deshita. Shirimasu, shiranai, shitta and shirana katta plain form. Now, as I just told you, verb zonjiru is polite for shiteimasu, which means to know. You know now that shiteimasu is very different in meaning to wakarimasu. But you see, as foreigners, we often make this mistake and use it incorrectly during Kaiwa. It is a common mistake. The difference is that shiru is without any effort. One knows something or does not know something, has knowledge of something or does not have knowledge of something. Whereas the verb wakaru requires some effort to understand and energy has to be put in. You can look at the examples, wakarimasu and wakarimashita. Have you understood? I can always ask you, minasan, kyo benkyou shita bunpo? Bunpo is grammar. Wakarimashita ka? Have you understood? Can I put shiteimasu ka? Kyo benkyou shita bunpo? It's past tense. Shiteimasu ka? Do you know? So that would be incorrect grammatically. So we have to use wakarimashita ka. Sometimes in certain situations you can interchange, but most of the time you cannot. Now, having said that, even if you make a mistake with shiteimasu and wakarimasu, it does not matter because you will be talking to natives and they will understand from context what you mean. But for your own knowledge, it is better to know that wakaru and shiru are both different verbs. Now, shiteimasu ka? Do you know of this? There is another example. Yume na hoteru o shiteimasu ka? Yume na hoteru. Do you know of it? Now, can you use wakaru? Wakarimasu ka? No, you cannot do that. So, Tanaka-san, toyu hito o shiteimasu ka? Now, this is what we are going to do over here in our next slide, and let us see what it is. This is a different usage of toimasu when used with nouns and self. It means it is called, is named, and toyu talks or tells or gives information about noun. It could be used to define something also. Let us see the examples. Kore wa shousetsu desu, a simple statement. Kore wa kokoro toyu shousetsu desu. Now, this is shousetsu is novel, toyu is called, and kokoro is the name of the novel, and korewa is this. So, it is going like this. This is a novel which is called kokoro. So, it is telling or giving information about this noun. これは心という which is called. There is more example and practice. You will get used to it, how it's used in different ways, so don't worry. 皆さん、心という小説を知っていますか? Do you know novel called 心皆さん? So, this is how it's going, like this, in this direction. 皆さん, do you know a novel called 心 or by the name of 心? ラオさん、ナルトという日本の有名なアニメを知っていますか? Do you know of this very famous animation called Naruto? I am sure you all know about Naruto and a number of you would have already seen it. So, called Naruto, by the name of Naruto. So, there is lot of practice today. Tanaka-san to ishoni. Over here the to means with. There is no quotation. It is different from the to imasu that we are doing. Tanaka-san toいう人はご存知ですか? We did it just now. ご存知 is know and hito is person called. Do you know a person called Tanaka? See, it is given over here. Do you know him? Do you know a person called Tanaka? 本社から山田さんという方もいらっしゃいます. This is from your dialogue from the Kaiwa. So, 本社から from the main office, 山田さんという a person called 山田さん. Kata is polite for 人, mo also いらっしゃいます is 来ます. So, there is more practice for you. Look at this and see what it is. It is a sitar. これは何というものですか? What is this? Mono. Mono means thing. Nan is what. So, what is this mono called? これ is this. Sitar des is the answer. Sitar des. So, in Japanese you would call it shitaru des. Shitar to you mono des. A thing which is called sitar. Now, sitar to you Indo no gakki des. Gakki is an instrument. So, an instrument from India or of Indian origin which is called sitar. You can also add yume over here. Indo no yume na gakki desu. Sitar to you Indo no yume na gakki desu. Now, look at this picture over here. This looks like strawberries. So, kore wa nan toいうものですか? Same question. So, nan toいう果物ですか? 果物 is fruit. Mono could be any thing. So, いちごです or いちごという果物です。果物 fruit which is called いちご. Now, add an adjective also over here, make your sentence better. So, いちごというおいしい果物です。果物 which is おいしい and called いちご. So, you can see there are 3 answers 1, 2 and 3. There can be more, you can add a few more things and make your sentence even better. So, basically という means called. ここまでわかりましたか? じゃあ続きましょう. This is a small Kaiwa. 7人の侍という日本の有名な映画を知っていますか? You cannot use わかります over here. 7人の侍. So, this is the name of the film. To yu Nihon no yume na eiga, very famous Japanese film which is called Shichinin no Samurai. Do you know of it? Mukashi no totemo yume de mune odoru eiga desu. Mukashi is old, totemo is degree, very, yume is famous, and over here you will see de. This pattern you have done when you join na adjectives and I or na adjectives, then de is used in between. So, yume de mune odoru. Mune odoru is very, very thrilling. I have written it over here and it will be a na adjective. Eiga desu. Senshu tomodachi to issho ni mimashita. I saw it with my friend last week. So, basically how to use toyu. Now, look at this. Tanaka-san wa doko ni sunde imasu ka? Doko ni. Place ni sunde imasu ka? Sunde imasu is sumu, to live. Now, what is the difference between sumu, kurasu and seikatsu? Su should be coming over here. So, sumu is to live and kurasu is also to live, but with a purpose. Sumu has basically the meaning of staying somewhere, basically related to the place or the house. That is why you have ni. Doko ni sunde imasu ka? So, living, existence of someone at a certain place. Now, kurasu is also the same to a great extent, but doing something for a living is what kurasu means. So, working or maybe doing some business to be able to survive, that is the difference. So, this is just static, living at a certain place, doing nothing else, just living, shows just living, existence, whereas this is dynamic and it shows that you are doing something, some action, some work, some job to be able to live, to be able to survive. And seikatsu is your lifestyle. So, there is a big difference, and also grammatically this will take particle ni and this will take particle de. Grammatically they are different, meaning wise they are same to a great extent. Now, Tanaka-san wa doko ni sunde iru ka gozonji desu ka? You have done A desu ka, B desu ka. So, same pattern over here, it shows contrast, comparison. So, Tanaka-san wa doko ni sunde iru ka gozonji desu ka? Do you know where he lives? Tanaka-san wa koko ni sunde iru ka dou ka? Whether he lives here or not, dou ka gozonji desu ka? This is actually the pattern. Tanaka-san wa biiru ga suki ka dou ka wakarimasu ka? Gozonji desu ka? Shitte imasu ka? So, you can use it like this and make lot of sentences so that this pattern you are able to remember during conversation. Tanaka-san to you hito wa doko ni sunde iru ka? Where is he living? Gozonji desu ka? Do you know? If you want to be very, very polite, if you want to be just informal, then shitte imasu ka? Now, Mira wa itsu kimasu ka? When? Itsu kimasu ka? Mira wa itsu kuru ka shitte imasu ka? Mira wa itsu kuru ka dou ka shitte imasu ka? So, this over here shows whether you know or not. So, Mira wa itsu kuru ka dou ka shitte imasu ka? And this does not have a question mark over here. Please remember, question mark is not there in the first ka. The second ka will have a question mark. and whether you know it or not is the meaning. So, in this case you can see you can use wakaru and shiru both. Sometimes you can, sometimes you cannot. There is a short Kaiwa for you now for practice. Kore wa nan desu ka? Sore wa Indo no gakki desu. Kore wa Hindi go de nan to imasu ka? So, Hindi go de, in Hindi. So, usage of de very different when you want to tell about language. Hindi go de nan to imasu ka? So, what is it? Sore wa Hindi go de sitar to imasu, or kore wa Indo no yume na gakki desu, or sore wa Indo no yume na sitar to yu gakki desu. Simple answer. Kore wa Hindi go de sitar to iimasu, because this is what it is called. Kore wa sitar to yu gakki desu. It is a simple answer. Simple conversation you can do informally with your partner and improve your spoken skills. Now, what is the difference between iimasu and nan? Nan is a question word and it means what? Kore wa nan desu ka is asking, or you could say pointing at something and inquiring about it. Now, kore wa means what is it? This does not have a proper verb because it has des in it. Though des is a verb, but it is not a complete verb. It is an easy way to inquire about something. Now, on the other hand, we have also studied kore wa nan to iimasu ka just now. It means what is this thing called. So, now you can see that this has a proper verb iimasu, which can be conjugated. In this case, you can name the object and put in quotes followed by to iimasu. Iimasu is a complete verb which means to speak, to tell, to talk, to say, or is called. Now, when you want to say called in a certain language, then you have to use particle de, and it is a proper and a polite way of inquiring about something. Kore wa nan to iimasu ka, or Nihongo de nan to iimasu ka. Over here you can see nan meaning what, a question word, and Nihongo de nan to iimasu ka, what is it? Called. And Nihongo de, called what is in Japanese. You can practice now here. It's very simple. Look at the picture, and umbrella wa Nihongo de nan to iimasu ka? You know the pattern, I don't have to tell you what it means. So, kasa to iimasu. Or you can look at this cute picture of a cow. Cow wa Nihongo de nan to iimasu ka? And ushi to iimasu. Or ushi wa eigo de nan to iimasu ka? Cow to iimasu. Now, kore wa nan desu ka? Kore wa haizara desu. Or kore wa Nihongo de nan to iimasu ka? Kore wa Nihongo de haizara to iimasu. You can say haizara desu, informal, haizara to iimasu, slightly formal, and haizara to you, mono desu, formal and a proper answer. So, I hope that everything is very clear now, and you will be able to use to iimasu in this manner how we have practiced here just now. And with this, I would like to end today's class. There is lots more to do, and we will of course do it in our next class. There was a kotowaza that I wanted to do with you, but as we do not have time, we will continue this lesson in our next lesson as well, whatever is left. With this, thank you very much. Go home and study, and we will meet again in our next class. Mata aimashou.